Truth to truth.
Wow. Good morning, good noon, good evening, wherever time and place you listen to us from, straight from the 909. It's Mark.
Yes, sir.
Ali.
What up?
Myself, Isaiah, and together,
That's hip hop.
Please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. It really means a lot. Today we're changing it up a bit. We're talking about something that's came up in recent conversations with hip hop. You know, there's actually an article I have up, Is Hip Hop Over? Because the headline is about hip hop not being in the top 40 of the Billboard 100. And they're saying, like, does that mean that hip hop's dead? You know, does that mean it's on the decline? You know, what's up? Like, is hip hop, you know, fading? And that's been the conversation. And so a lot of people have been like, oh, you know, kind of on the alert about it. What do you guys think about that being, you know, that it's not in the top 40 hip hop is not in the top 40 of the Billboard Hot 100? Does that mean anything these days?
For the length of time that hip hop was in the conversation in the top 40, that's where it becomes concerning. The last time it wasn't in the top 40 was 1990. So that is a long, healthy streak.
35 years.
Okay, so about 35 years.
There's been at least one rap song in the top 40.
Yeah.
Every week.
It's definitely something to be concerned about because we always talk about a genre like hip hop that consistently produces talent, various talents, various lyricism, various styles, various rhythms, etc. Why did it fail to produce something where 40 other songs were able to supersede it? That's the main issue.
Yeah. I mean, I would say on the negative side, it does show one kind of glaring issue in hip hop that I've heard, you know, on various platforms where, you know, there's really not many like stars in, I would say, like, you know, and specifically I would say in their 20s. Like, because again, hip hop, while we have entered a new era where, you know, ageism isn't really a thing, but I think at the highest level, it still does need to produce in the youth and for the youth. And, you know, recently, again, not only the best hip hop, but a lot of the most important and most relevant hip hop has come from, you know, older MCs, which again, that's not bad, but from a hit making perspective, you know, that's really not necessarily their aim. When, you know, most rappers, when they're rapping in their 40s, they're not chasing hits at that point. You know, they're rapping for legacy. They're rapping for, you know, to continue to tour. You know, some of them is just, you know, doing what they love. It's really just more so for the love of the game and for the love of lyricism or for the love of the art. It's not necessarily for the importance of making a hit record. Yeah,
they're attracting the consistent fan base that they've come to know and love at the length of their career. They're not out there trying to garner any additional fans from it. One positive about this whole situation, you always try to find the good in these type of moments. And in this situation, I'd like to say that the good is that we're kind of, this is a big sign to do a reform of sorts, to strive to, okay, this will literally show you that it's not working. So what are you going to do to change it? You being the artist that will try to crack the top 40 again.
Well, is this because we're seeing a decline of Drake because of the, you know, him losing this battle, and we've seen, you know, time and time, like there's another headline about Drake, you know, fumbling or not being able to really rise on top again from the aftermath of the battle. He every kind of song he's dropped, a lot of people don't even know it, you know, and that's not Drake.
Well, I think the biggest question would be, well, where's Kendrick in this? Because he would be the guy holding the torch for that.
But then, so if we're going that route, I think they had something where they
we shouldn't even depend on just him for that.
No,
right.
But they announced a change as well, so they're changing the reoccurring thing. So if you're on there still over weeks or a period of time,
after a certain amount of time, the song takes,
even if you are
yes.
still.
Oh,
like,
wow.
The rules of it have changed. So that's why, to me, that's why it's, and even like, it was at a point, I think either half or damn near all of Taylor Swift's album was in that top 40.
Okay.
Which the way that the rules have kind of changed with streaming, like that's kind of stuff that couldn't even happen in the 90s, where one artist can have, 13 songs from their album
right
in the top 40. Like that couldn't even happen back then. The way it's even calculated how a song can even be in the top 40 is even different now, where, like I said, we were in a space where I think it was half her album was in the top 40, whereas, or it was either half or the whole album, but a lot of her album was in that top 40, whereas that's something that you couldn't even do, not even, 15 years ago, let alone 20 years ago. You know what I mean? So I do think that was part of it, but I will also say on the positive end, it kind of can mean that hip hop is becoming more niche again, and that could be bad. That could be good or bad depending on how you look at it. But I think it's in a place where maybe we can start to develop some legitimate subgenres. Maybe we can get back to a point where there is I don't know, it's kind of hard to do with the internet, but where we have a defined underground. You know what I mean? Like there was a time where it was very clear what was mainstream, what was underground, and that didn't necessarily mean good versus bad. It was just you knew what certain artists were aiming for, and you knew where certain artists kind of, where their lanes were. Whereas today with the internet, it's hard to even tell. Yeah. And just with the oversaturation with so many artists out, it's even hard to just kind of pick the cream. I mean, the cream always rises to the top, but with so much out there, it's just harder. And the blending and mixing of genres has kind of also made it a little difficult to have true kind of definitive hip hop. Yeah. You know what I mean? You have hip hop diving into, like before,
country.
As far as it would go was R&B. R&B is probably as far as hip hop would go, as far as outside of the realm of hip hop. But now you got, like I said, diving into country, diving into rock, diving into, all these other different pop, all these other different, genres where hip hop definitively isn't even, I won't say it still has its own sound and its own culture, but it's just with it being a lot of intermingling and intermixing, it's hard to even tell what's what in some cases. You know what I mean? Like, there was a time where, again, you had like Post Malone come out and it was like definitive, White Iverson hip hop. Then all of a sudden he's, goes left and now he's doing like country type, whatever he's doing, but it's not hip hop. You know what I mean? So we have, even in that case, you have like, Visitors, you know what I mean? Where like in the 90s, you really couldn't do that. You know what I mean? The early 2000s, you couldn't really do that either, where it was like, you couldn't just like kind of dip your toe in the hip hop pool and then, okay, now I'm hot. Now I'm going to go way over here and do this other stuff. Like, hip hop was, for better or worse, we had gatekeepers. Today, gatekeepers are haters now. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's a little different and I think in some cases we should have gatekeepers. Yeah. In some cases. Like I don't think it should be completely locked down, but I think it should be in the sense of, is this good? Is this helping the culture?
Yeah, because these days anybody can make music, so. Yeah.
And is this authentic?
Good to at least, to have some sort of platform.
Do you have some type, I don't know how you would, check someone's credentials per se, but it's like, back in the day, you had to like, you better have been in some type of battle league or, better have been known as a freestyler on your block. You know what I mean? You had some type of local celebrity with your mixtapes. Like you had to have something before you even got a deal. You know what I mean? Today, you don't even need a deal. So it's just, you could just make some song from your phone, put it out, and now you're the hottest thing out for the second.
Yeah. I think it's good like that we're not on the Billboard, like because to me that just puts a chip on our shoulder, for more good music.
Yeah, that too.
And I think that doesn't necessarily mean hip hop's dead. I think early, like somewhere in the 2000s, whenever Nas came out with that, I felt like there was conversations about that because we had a rise of crunk, we had a rise, and I wasn't really feeling that. It was kind of more of
the snap era was coming along.
Soulja Boy,
the ringtone era was coming.
I could understand that conversation around that time, but right now when we have things going on like Legend Has It from Mass Appeal or a lot of drops this year of like great music.
Freddie Gibbs,
Tyler came out.
Tyler. Clips,
I'm
Mobb
hearing talks
Deep,
of the Russell now. That dude being
Russell,
the guy to carry it.
This other guy, Larizi from New Orleans. That dude is nice.
Yeah,
like, it's
Jid,
some dope.
like we got some nice ones coming
Obviously,
up.
Griselda's still popping.
Yeah,
like
Griselda's still
it's a
doing
lot
it.
of
Free
really
Lord, like
it's a lot of really good hip hop right now. It just isn't necessarily mainstream per se, but like,
they're creating their own fan bases though.
Yes,
like you were saying, the niche thing.
Mm-hmm.
You notice that a lot more because there's a lot more independent artists creating their own ecosystems.
Yes,
you know what I mean, like creating their own websites, creating their own fan base, creating their own spaces to Discord and all that.
Yep.
Like it's changing a bit.
Yeah,
and I think that's evident from like the Billboard, like where we're starting to see it.
Yep.
There'll be some songs I think that will make it, you know, mainstream, like, you know, another maybe type of Naughty by Nature or something esque, you know, sound that will make it and still be in the border of hip hop and mainstream. But I don't think it's necessarily foreshadow that hip hop's on the decline.
Not at all.
Or anything like that. I feel like hip hop's in a good space, especially right now. Seeing our legends pioneer, you know, the ageism and wiping that away.
Yep. I think with that, I think the next evolution of that is like right now it's great to see, you know, our legends still out here thriving and making great music. I think the next evolution of that is going to be, and this is something that we just got to get past as a culture, is where the OGs and the youngins can collab.
Yeah.
That to me is going to be the true evolution of hip hop going forward.
Yeah.
Is where we have the OGs reaching back to the youngins and the youngins reaching up to the OGs respectfully and actually collabing and doing work together, whether it be touring, you know, doing songs, whatever. I think that to me is the next step of evolution with, you know, the continued growth of hip hop.
Yeah, I agree. I don't see it as a warning signal or anything like that. I just see it as, okay, it's a moment. Like even right now, we read that headline where it lasted for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And now Megan Thee Stallion
just had a song back in.
There. Yeah. You know, whether, you know, you consider her hip hop or not, I do consider her hip hop. You know, I think, especially women, you know, artists, rappers,
definitely
starting to kind of made their rounds now. They're made the movement.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think she's one of those that definitely stand out. I mean, Q-Tip
co-signed her early.
her, yeah.
Early. Yep. He was around. And that's the thing. I mean, and again, that just mentioning that, it shows the, you know, where, you know, hip hop can go, but it also shows why the industry kind of is so confused, because for someone like Q-Tip to co-sign somebody and to not give it a chance.
Yeah, Q-Tip's co-signing it.
It's crazy. Yeah. Like she had to go off and do something else.
What do you want, Dr. Dre and Q-Tip to co-sign
like,
it?
Come on, man. This is Q-Tip. Like this is freaking Q-Tip.
Right.
Like he's like, I literally was about to get her signed, and because her social media and YouTube numbers weren't high enough, they wouldn't do the deal. Like it's crazy.
Really crazy, man.
Like this, and like the fact that they wouldn't listen to Q-Tip is nuts. You see what I'm saying? So to me, those are like the small things where you see like kind of
that's the negative.
That's
side
the negative side of where we
gatekeeping,
see the game right now. Because how do we not listen to what Q-Tip got to say? Right. I mean, obviously Meg went on to blow up anyway. Yeah. But the fact that he saw it 2-3 years beforehand, is insane. And he was like, yeah, like this girl can rap, like this, like, and she can, like, unlike, like I said, there's a lot of women out here doing, you know, records and stuff, but not all of them really. I mean, to me, I always look at it as, do you have, you know, freestyles on the radio? Do you have, you know, whether it be written off the top, do you have, you know, radio moments like that? Or can you spit and you'll come up? Meg has those. Lotto has those. Some of these other girls don't. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So to me, that's how I look at that. If you got a few of those where you making your rounds on the station spitting, I could rock with it. Whether I'm a big fan of your music is irrelevant. Yeah. If you can show me where, okay, no, this person actually can rap, I could rock with it. But yeah, as far as hip hop being dead, nah, I think it's an overreaction. It's too much good hip hop out here to say it's dead. I just think that it's moving in a different direction.
I have kind of a sidebar question just to ask you guys, because I've seen a recent interview Vlad did with 6ix9ine.
Okay.
And I'm wondering, will 6ix9ine ever turn the corner and be like a legit artist, or is he a legit artist in you guys' opinion? Like a hip hop artist? Is that?
Here's my issue with that.
That's a hard one.
It didn't see. Because when he was making noise, what he did to get him to make noise also ended up leading him down a path where, he's going, doing time and going to jail.
It's going to hit a crossroads.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he would almost be a fool to try that again.
Yeah.
And because, again, we are in a timeline where clout can outweigh skill sometimes.
Because he was a young one making hits. He was a young buck.
He was popping.
Part of the new wave.
He was hot for the youngins. He was hot on the internet. You know what I mean? But again, he was portraying something that ended up getting him caught up.
Right.
And when you're doing that, to have to keep doing, then you have to keep doing it.
Yeah.
And that's a dangerous game to play. So for him to try that again, he would be an idiot to try that again. So for him to say, can he? Of course, anything can happen, but he'd have to go on a completely different path. Like while we're on the subject, I just seen something where Designer, for y'all that don't know, the one that made that Panda song.
Oh, yeah.
Damn.
This dude just came out with something new. He's like rapping on like boom bap. Like he's a whole different. I didn't even know that was him. I hadn't seen him in years. Yeah. He's on some boom bap beat spitting. I'm like, that's design. You should have been doing this from jump.
Yeah, because he was the one that started where people were starting to be like, oh man, I can't understand rap.
And you sound like so he was like, it was like mumbling and he sounded like Future. And it was just, it didn't work. Like the song was hot, but he couldn't do nothing after that.
Yeah, how you gonna?
So then he completely does a 180, drops this boom bap sounding joint. I'm like, oh, okay. I wish you would have been doing this from jump. You might have been going somewhere with this.
Right.
Hip hop has this odd thing where if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
And you can always go back to just spitting.
And he was spitting. I was surprised and pleased to see Designer doing that. And I'm like, this is a path you can go on and have an actual career. You know what I mean? Because that's the thing. You can chase hits, but unless you're like, a Nelly or a Drake, that ain't, you're not going to live long just chasing hits. You got to chase making good music.
Yeah.
That's the key. If they happen to become hits, so be it. Like that's how the greats become great. They don't chase hits.
I liked your quote about that. You were like, the mainstream didn't become this. Like, or Nelly
didn't go mainstream. Mainstream went Nelly.
I love that.
Correct.
Quote.
Because that's how it went. Nelly wasn't trying to be the top dude on the charts. Nelly was just making catchy, good music that happened to blow up.
Yeah, that was a really good
quote. He to me is the best example of that. Like I said, he didn't chase a sound. He didn't go mainstream. Mainstream went Nelly. They said, oh, this is the hot thing. We're chasing him. We're throwing our dollars at him. We're going to throw, like I said, he didn't go out and ask NSYNC to get on the song. They got him on their song.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that. Like, he was the dude that was hot. They had to chase what he was doing.
Right.
And that's hip hop.
Right.
See, people think mainstream equals not hip hop. No. What's not hip hop is when you're chasing that consistently. Ain't nothing wrong with going for a hit. Everyone's done it. Right. But when you make that your stick or when you make that your thing, that's not hip hop. Right. You know what I mean? Like swinging for the fences, going in the studio to try to make a hit record, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But when you're doing that, if that's all you're doing, or if you're only chasing whatever sound is popping,
to the detriment of your integrity,
that's the problem. Yeah. That's where it becomes an issue.
Right.
So to me, that's where, a couple weeks out the top 40 ain't the end of the world. No. Now if we went like 6 months or something, that'd be a different conversation. Then we'd have to revisit that.
Yeah,
2 weeks after 2 weeks out ain't no big deal. Right. You gotta think 35 straight years is incredible for a genre that people didn't think would be here for 10 years.
Yeah, let's praise that.
You see what I'm saying?
Peace to us being in there for 35 some years straight.
And this is a genre that, again, people didn't want to be around. People didn't think would be around.
Exactly. It was supposed to be a
fad. You know what I mean? I just watched a clip from Kwame on Drink Champs. He was talking about how him and Kid and Play were on that Straight Outta Compton tour and how, when Fuck the Police came out, Easy basically.
That should be on that set.
Easy basically came up with a way to kind of outsmart law enforcement. Like they did this thing where, if you do, because NWA was the headliner, so they were like, if you do this song, we're shutting your shows down.
Oh yeah.
So what Easy would start doing is like, look, they didn't care who went last. So what they would do is NWA would come on maybe second to last or third to last, and then they do their set, and then they always would end with Fuck the Police. But what they would do is they perform the song, and they would just basically go out kind of like through the crowd and go out the side door halfway through the song, and then like Kwame would come up and perform, and then Kid and Play would come up and then shut all that down. Like
Kid and Play after that.
Like these are the things that like hip hop had to go through to get to this point in the first place.
Right.
You know what I mean? So to say is like dead for 2 weeks off the charts is like nah. We it's too much good.
There's
going
too
on.
much good going on to consider it dead.
Correct.
There's just too much.
Like I said, I always say like, is there a lot of like in this day and age in hip hop? Yes, there's a lot of bad, but there's also a lot of good. There's just to me, there's just more of everything.
Right now we're seeing a lot.
We just see a surplus of everything, good and bad.
Right. So a piece of this question brought up from just people talking about hip hop. It is something cool to talk about. But yeah, I don't think there's nothing to be concerned here. Catch us. We're dropping episodes every Monday. Make sure you guys follow, like, subscribe. Let us know what you think about that. Do you agree with us or do you disagree with us? Why do you disagree?
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, let us know. All right, let them know.
The MCs, drop a mic, drop a like.
Peace.